Hey everyone, welcome back to Williamson Ridge Outdoors. Today we are at the back of the truck because we're hooking our bulletproof hitch up to our PJ dump trailer, and we're going to go pick up a Kubota BX23S. We're actually going to be going over to Peaks Peak Hobby Homestead because he has offered to let us try out his Kubota BX to see if it may be a good fit for us, because the subcompact tractor, you know, for our uses could possibly be maybe too small for what I'm actually looking to do with it. So we're going to get hooked up here and go over to Peaks Peak Hobby Homestead and this is Lucas from Peaks Peak Hobby Homestead, and like I say, he was nice enough to let us use his tractor today. This thing loaded up and fit in here just right, so it would be a really handy setup to be able to take the tractor somewhere, move material, and then be able to load it back up and bring it back with us. Yeah, you got it right there, straight back. Barely does.
Just right, yeah. I wondered about that.
Well, one thing about the dump trailer though, if you did need that extra clearance, you could raise it just a hair.
That's right.
And lessen that angle a little bit.
Yeah, that would work good.
So we made it back to the house. This trailer and tractor combination actually worked out really good, so I'm happy to find out that if I do decide to go this route, that I'm going to be able to haul it around and use it maybe for some projects outside the property. So Lucas, why don't you take us around the tractor here and tell us a little bit about it and kind of some of your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so you know, the Kubota BX, basically a 23 horse subcompact tractor, loader, backhoe. I've said it a lot on my channel. I call this the Swiss Army knife of tractors because it will do just about anything, but it's probably not the best at any one of those things. You can buy dedicated equipment, a mini excavator, a larger tractor, a zero-turn lawnmower. There are lots of options to do the things that this will do. But if you want an all-in-one machine, this does all of those things pretty well. I use it to mow my yard, so I take the loader and the backhoe off. I mow my yard every week, and then I take the mid-mount mower off, stow it away, put the loader and the backhoe back on, and I go do the work that I need to do around the farm. With the loader, you know, the lift capacity on this has been enough to do the things that I need to do, but it's not the best lift capacity in its class. I went with the pin on bucket to get a little more lift capacity, but in my opinion, that was a mistake because I don't have the option of swapping into a grapple or a set of forks. I have to use a set of clamp-on bucket forks, and they don't work very well. They do okay. You can get by, but I really regret not getting the skid steer quick attach. So that's one recommendation I would make right out of the gate.
So on the front loader on this thing though, does this have like the quick attach and all that kind of stuff where you've either got like one lever and to be able to unhook it and be able to unhook it from the operator
seat?
seat?
You can actually remove the loader without ever getting off of the tractor. It has a quick attach hydraulic coupler that has all 4 connections in one manifold. That's one of those things that actually has been an issue on mine, and I had to have some warranty work done. But the dealer was great about taking it in. They took care of it, no charge, and they fixed it, and it's been working great ever since. But that quick attach function is one of my favorite parts of the machine because you can remove the loader so quickly. And where I use it for everything, I take the loader off, on and off all the time.
So this is one of the big questions I had about getting one of these small tractors with the backhoe is how capable is this little backhoe on this small of a tractor?
I have done some huge projects on my farm with this backhoe, and I would recommend anybody that's going to go buy one of these, if you don't already have a backhoe, spring for the backhoe attachment because you'll find yourself needing it just because you have it. I've installed electric lines, plumbing, done drainage ditches, French drains, and the whole works on my property because I have the backhoe. People will say, well, you could get by going to rent a piece of equipment and save some money. But the problem is a lot of times you won't do those projects if you don't have the equipment on hand. It's kind of opened up a whole new world of options for me. And I have found this backhoe it's great for digging. I'm not very good at digging out stumps and doing some of those things. If you buy a ripper attachment and some of the other things, it would make it more capable of doing those things. You know, there's a trade-off. It's not incredibly strong. It'll dig ditches like nobody's business. It's great.
Well, I find it funny that you mentioned that about the projects. If you have to rent a piece of equipment that you may not do that job because of having to go through that and rent that equipment, but if it's sitting there, then you'll probably go ahead and do that. And I'm actually finding that's the case right now, because I have several projects around that if I had a backhoe or a mini excavator, I would do those jobs, but I won't do it because of having to rent that machine.
I'll share one great example. I'm working on my cabin build and I was drilling post holes. I broke the shear pin in the post auger because I hit some rocks. I went down to the house, took off the post hole digger and the 3-point, put the backhoe on, went back up to the cabin and dug that out to where I could actually get to it and finish the project. So I was able to do that in one night, whereas I would have been out of luck if I didn't have the backhoe.
So another thing I've been kind of going back and forth on, you know, I've got a 0-turn mower, and that mower is great at mowing grass. The question is on this, like, how do you think that the mower does as far as mowing grass and the versatility of it, of where you can use it at, whether you mow on hills, how steep can the tractor handle, and actually how does the horsepower hold up on this? Because I know they do several horsepower steps, or at least 2 in this BX series, where you've got the 23 and there's a 2680 that is a 25 horsepower. So do you think that, you know, you would need more horsepower? Do you think this one has plenties?
I will say, first off, the reason I went with the Kubota Swiss Army knife tractor to begin with instead of a 0-turn was because I have some pretty good hills. I've got a lot of mud on my property, a lot of areas where I felt like a 0-turn would struggle. And so I have found that this tractor handles all of that really well. It holds to the hillsides really well. These R14 tires get great grip without tearing up the grass, so they work perfect with that. And as far as horsepower to run the mower, I actually did a demonstration in a video, I think it was last summer, where I took this up into one of my hay fields that was pretty thick grass and just dropped it down to mow in the thickest grass I could find on the place. It didn't bog the engine down at all. Now, it did leave some stragglers in that because I was cutting really thick stuff. Right. So, you know, if you mowed a little bit slower, you could still mow that really thick. But I mean, we're talking stuff that needed bush hogged. I ran the mid-mount mower in and it didn't have any trouble pulling it. Horsepower wise, I have never felt like I was struggling for power. There've been a couple of times, you know, digging where I've bogged the engine down just a little bit. I tend to overwork things a little bit. But as far as the size of the tractor and what it should be able to do, power is not an issue.
Awesome. All right, so Lucas, why don't you go ahead and take us through and kind of show us some of the controls and functions and stuff here on the tractor? Yeah,
sure. So the controls on the Kubota BX are super intuitive. And I'll just tell you, I consider the Kubota BX an entry-level tractor. A lot of times your subcompact tractor owners are brand new owners to the tractor world, and I think it's set up for that type of experience. Everything's super simple to use. I'll just hop up here. You've got a parking brake here, which, you know, you just press the little button and it sets your parking brake there. Hydrostatic drive transmission, to where you just literally press forward to go forward, press backward to go backward. You have a high and low range. We call them turtle mode and rabbit mode on our farm. I basically stay in turtle mode all the time unless I'm on the road to the Dollar General. Then I put it in rabbit mode. Two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive right here, which we've got her in a bind right now sitting on the hill, but two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive selector there. 3-point hitch up and down. And then your loader functions are mounted right here to the fender, so they don't go with the loader. The older style BX had the loader arm, the loader controls on the loader.
Yeah, it had it up here with it sticking out, didn't it?
Yeah, so they would remove with it, but I really like them right here on the fender, ready to go.
So now your 3-point, does that also control the mower deck up and down?
It does, and that's one thing that I've tried to cover on my channel that's really important. If you're doing any work with your mower deck off, you need to make sure to lock this mower cutting height wheel into top position, because if you don't, the controls for the mid-mount mower arm raise up and down as you move your equipment up and down on the 3-point hitch. They'll hang down in the way and get hung up on stuff. So you want to make sure you keep that adjusted properly, and then you set it to top, and that'll protect those controls.
Yeah, I actually did see that video too, where you show those hanging down And you could hook that on a tree stump or sapling or anything like that and actually kind of bend those.
Yeah,
so.
You can bend them and then you can't get your mower connected. Ask me how I know.
That's the way we all learn, isn't it?
Right. Your functions on the dashboard are, again, super simple. Your throttle control, just pull down to give it throttle. You have a cruise control right here, so when you press the pedal, you press that knob down, and when you let go of the pedal, it will control your speed and hold it there. That's a function I never use. You've got turn signals, flashers, and headlights, all pretty basic controls.
Yeah, that seems really easy to use, and I'm kind of excited about Tamara trying this out because she has tried to operate my tractor before, and it's a little intimidating, one because of the size, but then there's a little bit more into it because you've got to select gears and you got to select range, and then there's a clutch, and then you've also got your shift lever on the column. So there's a lot of stuff going on there to get everything just right all the time. And then that selection of speed, if you don't have that off the bat, you let off on the clutch too quick, then it could be kind of a scary ride, especially if your RPMs are way up. Ask me how I know about that.
All right, so the last of controls from the operator station are you've got your PTO selection. So you have your rear PTO, you can run them both together or just your mid-mount PTO. So your mower deck runs off of a PTO shaft that's in the middle. So it's all gear driven, which is a really nice setup, but easy selections, and then you just engage your PTO by pulling that lever down right there. So that's all from the operator station.
So the PTO on this one, is that one mechanical or is that an electrical engagement?
It's mechanical.
Okay.
Hey, look there.
Hey. So I'm actually surprised at how easy that was. I thought that would kind of be a hassle to turn that seat around. I know that, I've seen people fool with these on other machines, but it looks like Kubota's got that worked out pretty good to make it simple.
It does. Some people complain about it, but once you get the system down, it's not that bad. The only thing that I've noticed that bugs me a little bit is the cup holder here. You can't have a cup in the cup holder when you spin the seat around. When I'm out working, I always have a big cup of water with me. So I always have to set my water off to the side, and then I forget it and kick it over, and it's just part of it. So your controls for the backhoe, again, really simple. You can look at it and tell exactly what needs to happen. You've got your outrigger controls right here, your boom and dipper controls, all work very intuitively. Doesn't take very long at all to get the hang of digging. I went out the first day and started digging ditches, and I have no experience operating anything really.
Yeah, it looks pretty simple, and then it looks like there's also plenty of room. I was actually kind of worried about this being a compact or a subcompact tractor. I didn't know how it worked with knee room and all that, but there's actually tons of room up here because this is all open through here.
A couple of things about the whole size setup. One, your ROPS is up higher for this very reason. I complain about the height of the ROPS sometimes because it won't drive through my barn door, but it needs to be so that you have headspace when you're sitting here. As far as operator room, there's plenty of room here. The only thing is, I don't have real big feet, like a size 10 boot, and I find myself resting my feet up here because they're a little tight down here and not much room to move your feet around. That's the only complaint I have. Otherwise, plenty of room to operate, and it's comfortable.
So now that we've gone through everything with the tractor, let's take it down and put it through its paces and try it out. So coming up next time on Williamson Ridge Outdoors, we're going to be having pretty much all the functions of this Kubota BX series tractor and putting it through its paces and actually trying out the backhoe, trying out the mid-mount mower, trying out the loader, pretty much doing everything. And we're going to be taking all these parts on and off the tractor to see how quickly and easily all this kind of stuff can be done and how versatile this tractor really is. So make sure to stay tuned and follow along for the next video coming in our Kubota BX series videos. Make sure to go check out Lucas over at Peaks Peak Hobby Homestead, because again, he was nice enough to bring this tractor over and let us try it out. And he has a whole bunch of videos on this BX series tractors and all kinds of projects and stuff that he has used it on. So until next time, keep it outdoors, and we'll see you on the next one.